Don't let a single one get away!
Alright, so you picked up Smash. You watched the intro to this game. You saw that Kirby survived an incredible attack, the only one who escaped. And you thought to yourself with your big brain, Kirby must be the best character in this game. How do I get good with him? You've come to the right place. Alright, so today we're going to talk about, in my opinion, 5 huge tips you should know when you're playing Kirby to be good with Kirby. Kirby's got his strengths and his weaknesses. We're going to go over his primary strengths and the tools you need to utilize in his kit to be good with Kirby and dominate the world. I mean, what else would you be doing with him? Alright, in all seriousness, we're going to start out with the first one. And I'm labeling this section just knowing your fundamentals. With this video in particular, there are a couple fundamentals I'm going over that are specific to Kirby. Some may be applied to other characters, but the reality is you wouldn't really want to or need to with other characters, where you will need to with Kirby. I'm also going to add a link in the description from Izaw Smash where he talks about some of the fundamentals of playing Smash. Now that's a really good video if you don't know anything about fundamentals. That'll lay a good groundwork for this, and then you can always come back here and we'll talk about the primary ones you'll need to use for Kirby. Let's get into some of these fundamentals, and yes, I play Blue Kirby. Why wouldn't you? He's the best. The first one that I think is most important is just short hopping. Short hopping in essence is a, surprise, surprise, a short hop. If you were to fully press the jump button, you can see Kirby's full height here. The alternative is very quickly pressing the jump button. Now there's a couple ways you can do this. Smash Ultimate actually does a great thing where on your controller you can tap X and Y together to do a short hop. I kind of switch between the two. I'm going to branch off a bit here with this and say I think the most important way of using short hops with Kirby is a short hop forward air. Short hop forward air with Kirby is disgustingly good on shield pressure. Because Kirby is so floaty, you can see here you can kind of drift in and out with it. The next one, which you may have seen me do a couple times already, is fast falling. So again, fast falling is exactly what it sounds like, just like short hopping, where you are falling faster than normal. So if I do a full hop here and just fall, you can see Kirby falls pretty slowly. He's a very floaty character. But short hopping is pressing down on your left stick at the peak of your jump. So in this case, we'll do down, and you can kind of see a little star flash right above Kirby's head, sometimes kind of over his head. That indicates that you are correctly hitting the stick at the perfect time so that you can fast fall. And you can see in comparison, so normal jump, fast fall, normal jump, fast fall. When you fast fall, you get to the ground a lot quicker. Now, when you're trying to do combo strings with Kirby, you need to get back to the ground as fast as possible to continue your strings. So know your fast falls. The next one I'm going to talk about is semi-specific to Kirby, and I think just more usable with his kit, but important to know, and it's pivot canceling. His gameplay does focus a lot on the ground, even though that may not be what you expect. Now, pivot canceling, to put it in a very logical, step-by-step description, it is when you are running, you turn the other way, and right when you turn the other way, you're flicking the right stick to do a tilt in the opposite direction that you just turned. So if I were to run and then forward tilt, Kirby stops. Now Kirby does not have good range, so he needs that added distance. So we're gonna pivot cancel, and you can see with pivot canceling, he actually dashes forward with the forward tilt. If I run, flick back, and then flick the right stick to the right, Kirby will dash forward, and in a way, it kind of gives him extra range, right? Because he's now sliding forward with that tilt, giving him more pressure ability on your opponent. I don't think that this particular tech is like essential to your Kirby game, but I would say that it is a great thing to learn and to practice over time. There are other pivot moves that Kirby does. For example, a run-up pivot up tilt. So pivoting and then going directly into up tilt is also really important to get faster hits on your opponent. Again, not extremely critical to dominate Elite Smash, but a good tech to learn nonetheless. All right, next we're going to talk about, this one is a little bit more common, and actually with Mario you can use it a lot, but it is reverse aerial rushing, or in its short form, it is roaring. Rar. Roaring, reverse aerial rushing, is when you want to approach your opponent with a back aerial move. So if you know you want to hit Mario with that back air, you need to learn how to reverse aerial rush. You're going to run, you're going to flick back to turn around, jump, and then you're going to flick back towards the way that you were facing, so that you keep your momentum moving towards Mario in this case, but facing backwards. So we're going to run, we're going to flick, and you can see that right there. You can see that by rushing and then flicking, we are turning around. It's a very good option, particularly towards the edge of the stage. The last one, and I think one of the more saucy things you can learn with Kirby, and this is pretty standard amongst a lot of the roster, the cast in Super Smash Bros., is jab locks. Kirby can stumble with a lot of his aerial moves. Stumble? Tumble? But when your opponent has tumbled, then you can jab lock them. Kirby's back air and neutral air in particular, you'll probably get this. So for the sake of throwing an example, if they pressure your shield and land next to you, you can neutral air, right? And you can now see that Mario is tumbled. If they land without teching, you now have the chance to jab lock. Jab locking keeps them in that tumble animation while getting them more damage, hitting, adding percent to their damage meter, so that you can get even more options to follow up with, kill options, whatever it may be. It also gives you a little bit of time just to think and set up. When I find it to be most useful is out of shield. So if they land on your shield and pressure, because neutral air hits in all directions, you can just do it right out, and you can immediately start drifting that way once you've hit, right? And this is another reason fast falling is important, because it allows you to get to the ground faster so that you can start dashing towards your opponent. Do that, fast fall, rush over. 2 down tilts can lead into a forward smash, for example. Now, you can jab lock with 2 moves with Kirby. His jab, which is pretty self-explanatory, and his down tilt up to about, I think, 80%. So I'll be using down tilt. It is better to use at lower percents because it does do more damage than an actual jab. That's really it. When they're tumbled like that, you want to get up to them and maintain that locked down position that they're in. Back air can also do this, as you can see. The full string of forward air can do this. It doesn't have to be out of shield. That's just the most common times that you'll be using moves like that. So jab blocking, super important. Again, you just follow up, you keep them jabbed, and then you can do something cool out of it. And just for fun, I'll show you my favorite jab block combo, and it's actually at this percent. I'll explain it after I show you. One of the cooler Kirby combos, which if you can land in a match, I can guarantee your opponent is going to be scared. Just to break it down really briefly, you're gonna up tilt footstool and then fade back left. Right? And then at that point, you're gonna do your normal jab block. I like 1 down tilt and then 1 jab and then into the hammer. So again, just to show it really quick, that's at 76% from 40. So that one combo is, quick math, 26%. Oh, 36%. So the next thing that you're really gonna wanna know, and this is point 2, is knowing Kirby's playstyle. So I'm gonna put a link in the description that's gonna show the different types of playstyles and then some examples of where a character fits within them. There are 2 primary playstyles that Kirby fits within. One is called Bait and Punish, and the other is called Pressure. Bait and Punish is kind of what it sounds like. You play a little bit of a more safe defensive game, waiting for your opponent to whiff. So this could be something like your opponent using a smash attack and then you rushing in to hit them after they do it because of their ending lag, whatever it may be, right? And then there's Pressure. Once you're in and close to them, you want to stay close and you want to pressure them. You want to do tech chases, roll reads. You want to get as much as you can off of that close range pressure. And so this, maybe follow-up combos, grabs, whatever. You want to stay in their face and prevent them from being able to make any decisions or prevent them from resetting. The TLDR here is you want to wait until they whiff, so keep your distance, wait till they whiff, get in there, and then once you're close, you're going to want to start making some really quick actions, pressuring their shield, whatever it is, right? Trying to do whatever you can to lead one attack into another without giving them a chance to reset. All right, number 3 is going to be practicing Kirby's bread and butter combos. So I've noted down a couple here that I want to go over. Honestly, one of my favorite things about Kirby, and one of the reasons I've stuck with him for so long, is because he's such a creative character. There's just a lot you can do between mixing up your tilts and your aerials and your smash attacks, your grabs. you can really experiment. And I think that's what makes it so fun. You know, once you understand Kirby fundamentally as a character and his moveset, you can really start playing around with a lot of things. But with that said, I do want to go over a couple that I think are the bread and butter, and a lot of these will lead into further combos. They're just good starters. One of the first ones that I think is really good is his grab, forward throw into forward air. This is really good at low percents. Leads into a lot of other really great combos. It's super simple. And there you can see from 10% to 32%. So a 22% combo by doing 3 inputs, I guess. Grabbing, forward throwing, and then just immediately doing a forward air. Really, really good, really, really easy, really great combo starter. And a really great pressure starter because you know they're going to be pushed away so that you can immediately just run up to them maybe for another grab. I mean, you can get so much off of one thing. Another one pretty similar is going to be down air into grab. You can do a short hop down air into grab, or a full hop down air into grab. Something to note with down air is that your opponent can land in front or behind you, so you have to kind of watch the trajectory of your down air to know where you're going to land. So in this case, it's going to go behind, and then in this case, we'll make sure that we land with our opponent in front of us, which, look, it combos into the first one we talked about. Another one that is really good, and you may see some of the higher skilled Kirby players doing this, and it's a lot of down tilts. So Kirby's down tilt trips, particularly at the tip of his foot. So down tilt really, when you trip, can combo into just about everything, but you need to down tilt a lot. Now the nice thing about it, it's so fast. You can just spam it, and you're pancaking yourself while you're doing it. So sometimes the opponent's smash attacks or grabs will actually miss you because you're too small. So it's a great run-up approach option, and then they may trip like that, and you can follow it up with, guess what? Grab, forward throw, fair. The takeaway here is that you can do a down tilt into most options. We can literally pair the previous two into this. You can down tilt to a down air, to a grab, to a forward throw, forward air. I mean, come on. All right, next one is going to be a falling forward air into F smash. Now, the first 2 hits, as long as you don't hit the last hit, will combo into F smash if you land immediately after the hit. I think the easiest is the first hit of forward air into your F smash. Again, short hop, fair. It's so good. Now, the combo counter on the side isn't saying that it's a true combo, but it's extremely rare that someone can get out of that. I mean, it's just so good. I think really the takeaway here from your bread and butter combos is start with a grab, a down tilt, or really any of your aerials, and you can follow up with a lot. And just to go over maybe really quickly a couple more, you can do falling up airs into up airs which combo into themselves, which could get jab blocks, which we've obviously gone over. Down airs can combo into up tilts, into forward airs, right? That's what I'm saying, the creativity comes in play, because from one down air, in one down air you can go to a grab, which we've talked about. In one down air you can go into an up tilt, which combos into itself. In certain cases you can do down airs into up tilt, into up air, down air, up tilt, up smash. I mean, I'm telling you that there's just so many combos that you can put together as long as you hit some of those first ones. I mean, it's kind of dumb how many of his moves combo into each other. Kirby has his weaknesses, but his strengths and ability to start combos from just about anything is phenomenal. All right, moving on to the next one. This is a single liner tip. Stop jumping. Everyone thinks that with Kirby, just like Jigglypuff, like, oh, he's got all these jumps, like I should be jumping around, I'll pressure my opponent from the air, right? Yes, you can do that, and there are cases where you should do that, where it's wise. Like Little Mac, it's great against, because Little Mac can't really do anything if you're in the air. So if you bait out a smash or a dash, you can land on it with a down air and do everything else we've already talked about in this video. You're going to want to be foxtrotting around, waiting for that bait and punish, get in there with your down tilt, right? Which is already so low, puts you in a relatively safe spot. At least 50-50 incorporate a lot of ground play with Kirby. Don't sit around in the air too much. If you get If your opponent gets used to it, they're going to anti-air you. They're going to counter you in the air. Number 5, and our last tip, very specific to Kirby, know when and when not to use your neutral B copy ability. A lot of people joke that, you know, you can use the neutral B off the edge to carry your opponent off the edge, which I'm sure you've seen many times, right? Where if your opponent is too close and you're recovering, you can take them down with you. Candidly, it is a good option. But with that said, there are characters where getting their ability, their neutral B, is extremely valuable. And in this case, Mario is a great example of that. Because you don't have projectiles as Kirby. You don't have a way of zoning your opponent and forcing them to jump or shield so that you can approach. And remember, once you approach as Kirby, you have that pressure game, which is really good. So just know when to use it. Some of my favorites, really any projectiles. Samus is a great one to get. Mario's obviously is good. Luigi's is decent. My favorite is getting Piranha Plants. I think Patooey with Kirby is ridiculously good because you can sit around off stage and float and then snipe with your Patooey and land it a lot of the time. But then there are other characters with poor recoveries, like honestly Little Mac, where if they are doing really aggressive ledge pressure on you and you know that they're close enough where you can get your neutral B, then sometimes it's worth just to take them down lower than what I just did. Point is that you can take them off very far, spit them out low beneath the stage where they cannot recover, and then you will be able to recover. I would practice with certain matchups, knowing when you feel like it's valuable and when you do not think it's valuable. Typically, if your opponent has a really good recovery, it's almost never valuable to use neutral B to take them off. So I was only going to do 5 tips. I want to give you one more bonus, and I talked about this a bit earlier, but it's going to be your kill options. So I'll quickly go through a couple of my favorites. My first one on the list is up throw. Now, up throw is extremely good on stages with platforms. It's okay on stages without platforms, but if your opponent is at about 150% on a non-platform stage, it will kill, at least more likely. So you can see right there, actually, that would have been just short. It almost hit the ceiling. So maybe 160. I guess the point is if your opponent does happen to be at this percent and you can guarantee a grab, his up throw is the one to use. Another one, which we've already talked about, so I'm not going to go over it completely again, but it's your falling forward air into forward smash. If you're close to the edge of a stage and you get that, it's a great kill option because, again, it combos at most percents. Another one is going to be tilts at the edge, which do surprisingly well if your opponent is, probably just over 100%, maybe 110 to anything higher. You can use your forward tilt and it will kill. If you know that you can do it, if you're foxtrotting waiting for them to get up and you see a neutral get up or a get up attack and you can rush in and forward tilt using your pivot cancel that we talked about earlier to guarantee that extra range. Another one, very similar, it's just going to be your back air. Back air is really, really strong, as you can see. Granted, our opponent is at 110% here, but you can sometimes when I'm playing, I will keep my back towards my opponent. I will wait for them to do something like a dash attack or a smash, and then I'll rush in and get a quick back air. Or like we've talked about, you can use RARs. And that approach option is really good for back air kills at the edge of the stage. Last but 100% not least, probably my favorite kill option is going to be down air. You can gimp at stupidly low percents against characters that have poor recoveries. If you can get them off stage and you know where they're gonna go and you can land that down air, sometimes you have to read if they're gonna jump or not, then you can follow up with that down air. Lastly, just to leave you with a couple of resources. Obviously, links in the description to some other videos and links to help you expand your knowledge set. You're welcome to also join my Discord, which is in the description. I'd love to answer any questions that you have there. I also recommend joining the Kirby Discord. They've got a lot of pinned content there where you can learn matchup experience. Just general Kirby tech that is really good to know. I do stream 4 times a week, Monday, Wednesday, Thursday, 5:30 to 8 p.m. PST, and then Saturdays, 10:30 a.m. to typically about 12:30 or 1 p.m. PST. So if you enjoyed this video, please hit like and subscribe. It really helps the channel. I know you hear that all the time, especially from smaller channels like myself, but those likes and those subscribes really do help grow this, and I really love this kind of thing, and I'm hoping to do more of it.